I am the host, Nature Boy, joined by my illustrious 3 co-hosts once again. And to introduce those fellas, we're going to go in backwards rotation this time. Also hailing from the third coast, we got Super Smooth Dub D on the mic. What's happening today, D?
What's up? What it do?
All right, next, we got Big Hanayama, Zelle, currently stationed in Dirty D-Town. What's happening, Zelle?
What's going on? How y'all doing out there?
All right, we got the People's Champ, the Fresh Prince, last but not least, chilling from the headquarters. We got King Bean on the mic.
Josh B. Now what's going on, Big Money, Texas? Big Money, Texas, you know what I'm saying?
Holding it down.
This dude come in with all the damn theatrics.
Well, you know.
Why you didn't get it right before? Huh?
Yeah, we gotta get right.
I'm gonna get my shit together, I promise you. Next time we get on this thing, I'm gonna have intro music and everything. I ain't playing around. We putting dollars in the car.
I really mean it.
And money in the Ziploc bag. All of that. It's going down. Match with the cash.
All right, for everybody out there, on this particular show, we discuss all things gaming, anime, music, modern issues, everything pop culture, sports. We get into all that on this particular show. So, but on this particular week, we're going to dive into a topic we talked about for many years, actually. We're going to get into what games are we looking for to have sequels to, even to this day, right? So it's a lot of games that came maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago that were cult classics or had major success, but due to some particular reasons, whether it be financial or particular business units getting shut down, we never receive a proper sequel to some of these games. So we're going to get into that. But before we get into that on this show, we're going to spin it to Dub D to get any recent developments or any news in the gaming or popular media landscape. What you got for us, D?
Okay, so apparently, for all you fans of Warner Brothers games, it could be some trouble in the midst because it looks like EA, Activision, Take-Two, and Microsoft is actually looking to acquire their division. Now, we already know the two who we don't want WB to go to. So in this particular scenario, it's probably going to boil down to the lesser of 4 evils, and I would probably have to say Microsoft, because at least if they did take WB Games, with them already lacking studios, they may actually put everything that they can behind the studio to make sure that whatever games that they put out are good and will garner traffic to their console. Now, as far as Activision and EA, that's pretty much self-explanatory. Don't nobody want to see WB go to them because we already know about their predatory practices with their consumers. As far as Take-Two, probably like the next runner-up. But that's pretty much the main news on the streets right now.
Okay. So in terms of, I know we mentioned a few games that's coming out pretty soon. Go ahead and let us know what games we can look forward in the near future.
Okay, so for all your action heads, we do have Ghost of Tsushima coming out July 17th, which I believe is next Friday. And for the lighter hearted folks that's looking for like a light little RPG kick, we also have Paper Mario the Origami King. My wife is a big Paper Mario fan, so she's looking forward to that. And somewhere on the horizon, I want to say we have the Neo 2 DLC. I think it's called the Tengu's Wrath or something like that. Of course, I'm personally looking forward to it as well.
Absolutely.
And I think that's about it as far as immediate releases.
Right. And I'm gonna quick chime in real quick. So, I play a lot of 2K, and 2K over the past week has released a lot of videos on what to expect for 2K21 as far as the pre-sales on the Kobe Forever Edition. So I think I'm not gonna get too far into it, but I think the best bundle they got going is the Kobe Forever Edition that you can get for the PS5. That you can also get the code for the PS4 for. So there's been a lot of conversations on that. A lot of people have been asking about, is your My Player enclosed in-game purchase going to transfer over to the new one? My thoughts is probably not, because from what 2K has mentioned, they stated that the new 2K will be a different game than the one that's coming for the current gen. So they won't be able to be transferred over as far as your player moves, abilities, and clothing and items like that, since it's supposed to be a new system. But I think your VC and little things like that will be able to be transferred over. So I know there's been a lot of debate in the community, the 2K community, about those particular aspects. But I mean, if it's a new system, and I hope it's a different game, because you don't want to be paying $69.99 for a game that's exactly the same as the one you have on current gen. So
speaking of $69.99, I got something I want to chime in on the back end of that whenever you're done. And I feel like everybody can talk about this. So proceed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much done until they get more details, because I'm more looking forward to the gameplay and how everything is set up. Because the thing in the 2K is, in 2K19 and 2K20, essentially we got the same parts. They just copy and paste the part. They changed the mechanics of the game and how it moved, but essentially it's like 19.5 instead of 2K20. So a lot of people have problems with that. So I know for a fact they bet not do that for 2K20. Or I'm definitely not getting the game for sure. And a lot of people might not get it either. But yeah, let's move forward. What you have for the $69.99. What's your thoughts on that?
Okay, so that's another thing that I wanted to address as far as gaming news. So apparently 2K is looking to charge for the base copy of 2K21 for the next gen console $69.99.
Right.
Now to some that may not mean anything, because you got your extremely hardcore 2K players, but for everybody else that may open the door to a dangerous precedent, because now other developers from other companies are looking to increase their games to $69.99 as well. Now, I'm pretty sure there's people out there that's saying, well, gaming costs are getting expensive, inflation, yada yada yada. But I feel like, at the beginning, the gaming industry was complaining about used games cutting into their sales, and which is the reason why they did like microtransactions, or when they tried that whole all online stuff with Xbox. Now that they've already got past that talking point and shoving microtransactions and in-app purchases and all that other stuff down our throats. But in the same token, most of these companies are reporting record sales across the board as far as like profits, but in the same time you laying people off or cutting back on manpower. So when you saying stuff like gaming costs and all of that, development on the rise, it costs more money to make games, but in the same stroke you reporting record profits, and the big cats up top giving themselves huge bonuses while the actual people that's making these games is getting laid off, then it's kind of like, I don't believe you. So with them wanting to do $69.99, I'm personally not really with it, because even if they do charge that $69.99, I don't feel like that money is going to really go to the people that really need it, and it's just going to serve to be part of the bottom line for shareholders and CEOs and everything like that. And we footing the bill while the developers are still crunching it out, people getting burned out, people leaving, people getting laid off whenever, the quarter hits and they do their earnings calls and report everything. So I don't think it's gonna be a good look. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm just gonna wait for sales.
Mm-hmm.
People gonna start having to be more selective on their game buying instead of trying. People are already kind of worried, just like they're not just buying games to be buying them no more. They kind of like got to do extensive research before you decide to buy a game now. But I knew that the industry wanted to go up on their prices. They've been wanting to go up on their prices. The new system is just a good enough reason for them to do so. But they've been wanting to probably go up on those prices. I mean, it is all about that mighty dollar.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
do you think they're justified, or
I don't think that I don't think it's a justification. I just think that with any business where one side holds all the leverage, like if we had a harder indie scene, then they wouldn't have the leverage that they do to when they do put out these games to be able to charge that. But our indie scene is, very mediocre in comparison. The top games are still the top companies. And
finish. Go ahead.
But yeah, if we had a better indie scene on the games, then yeah, they wouldn't have so much leverage. But they hold all the cards. I mean, it's only a matter of time before you especially for a game red heart, it's a matter of time. Like, I'm going to get that game now. I can't hold out. I can't just not have nothing to play. So,
and you know what too? Another thing that we kind of need to mitigate some of that is we need AA games to come back. It's always been about AAA titles. If it ain't that, I mean, of course, indie developers out there putting out some gems and stuff like that too. But just like in the fashion of indie, they're not garnering the same attention and market space and everything like a AAA company is. So I really feel like nobody has really said anything, but I feel like we've kind of just not noticed that the AA game has kind of all but disappeared. And I feel like if we had a return to that, then it wouldn't be as much of a demand for these AAA titles, and which in turn, will create more competition. So whenever they do put out these AAA titles, instead of just, I'm gonna put this out, y'all gonna buy it because I'm the only place you can get this from, it's gonna be like, well, damn, we got this, and out. I'm gonna have to actually apply some effort.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I do feel like we're in a losing battle with it because, when I think about a $70, $80, even if the game was $100, but if they came with it, I'd pay that $100 because I know that I'm gonna have months and months of fun off of it, and compared to, going to Topgolf, going bowling week after week, that'll, you'll spend more money that way. So if you did have a solid title, a real super good game, if it was worth the money, they almost could charge whatever they want for it. That's why, people play like Fortnite and they keep buying the add-ons, or 2K and they keep buying the add-ons. I mean, because if it's something that you put all your time into.
I don't think 2K is a good comparison.
I mean, it's an excellent comparison as far as revenue, though.
Yeah, revenue, but I'm talking about as far as quality versus dollars that you investing in the game.
But it's quality because of how long you own the game. That's what I'm talking about. Like, people own 2K until the next 2K come out. Yeah, then that's months and months and months of gaming for your shit. I mean, if you pay 2K from first one, like 2020 to 2021, all the way through, and you spent $200 in its entirety, you still got your money's worth.
I think that's a given though, because of the nature of it being a mostly multiplayer title, and then not only that, for 2K, in order for you to really compete as soon as you get the game, you kind of have to spend coin, because if you get out there on my player or my court, I mean, you're gonna get drove. You need badges and you need your stats.
And I want it to be on the record that I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I don't like it. what I'm saying is they hold all the cards. We have nothing to combat that. To justify how we can get the prices down.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna chime in. I'm gonna let Zelle get his thoughts in there. So if we're talking about 2K, they did. It's real slick how they did it because you don't have to pay that additional, because what it is $50 to get your character up to all right. So for people that don't play 2K, because people that do play 2K know this, and they play my team, not my team, my player. Right, so when you get the game, you pay. Let's say you pay the base game, which is $59. That's $60, and you might get the next level edition, where it's $79, right? And you might get some VC and some extras with that. But to take your character up to the stock level, which would be 85, you will probably spend like this additional $49.99, and it's $49.99 because you're going to need about 200 to 220k VC to build him up to that level. That's before you start grinding badges. Now, you don't necessarily have to do that. You could grind it the regular way, but now they kind of placed it in the hands of competition, meaning the people decided, I'm gonna pay that money because I want to start off I want to start off with everybody else. Right? So you don't have to pay it, but most people are gonna pay it because they don't want to be left behind. So I think it's kind of slick the way they did it because they already know people are gonna pay it. And that's on top of how they added boosts and stuff in the game, and now people feel like they need it to be able to compete on the highest level. You see your favorite YouTubers getting stuff like that, so you're gonna get it. And like I said, I don't really buy boosts and stuff like that. I get it from the wheel, or if I get VC from playing, I might use it, but I only use it when I go to stage or play other players in stage. But to touch on your point from the $69.99 standpoint, I just think, like Bean said, you have no leverage because they're coming out with the games you're the consumer. Either you're gonna pay it or you're not. Most likely, the peer pressure of gaming is going to be what makes people pay that additional price, right? Cost of gaming is only going to go up, so they are going to capitalize on that, and there's nothing really you can say or do about that, or just not get the game, period, right? You can't say I'm a boycott because not enough people will boycott for it to even mean anything. So you're at the mercy of the company. So most people are going to pay that $69.99. The last point is in regards to AA titles. I think we're at a point where the knowledge base on a AAA scale is so vast between them and second place that most people may not even play a second place game. And if they do play a second place game, they're not going to play it for long. Right? I don't know how many non-AAA titles are out there that have lasted as long as a AAA title, right? So Destiny is a AAA title.
And then those AA titles still probably try to just keep up with the Joneses and still charge the same price.
Exactly.
They have to charge more. They have to charge more because they're building to become a AAA, right? So in order to do that, you got to do the same thing a AAA do, but you're gonna have to put more money into it because you don't have the same resources.
Margins will be super small, and then if it ain't big, it's your company's probably done.
Yeah, because it's.
I don't know. I think it depends on the genre. Something like a Street Fighter, for example. Fighting games have never really been, with the exception of Mortal Kombat, have never really been in that AAA bubble. But something like a Street Fighter, and that was partially funded by Sony. It enjoys pretty good success, with the multiplayer crowd and the single player crowd and everything like that. And for the most part, aside from some kind of shitty practices they did with dialing the fight money back, I mean, Street Fighter is pretty successful. It had a
that's also a title that has like long living history. Like to come up with something brand new, like a AA title, even if it was a fighting game or anything, just out the blue type game that you know nothing about, it's gonna be pretty tough. Like you could probably bring some stuff back but I doubt it'd be really hard to bring up something fresh.
That is true, but I use Street Fighter because out of most genres, I feel like fighting might be to keep players because nowadays it ain't a whole lot of fighting games that have single player content. So for your casual player, they'll beat arcade mode and be like, okay, I'm done with this.
Right.
And then if they try to get online, then they'll see how bad they're getting crushed. And it's just the competitive aspect, just like shooters.
Right.
It's just so much difficult to break in that's also something that'll turn off the player too.
Right.
So I use that as an example because with it being a AAA title, it has its extreme pros and cons, but it still finds a degree of success and it still reaches its audience and everything. And then again, with it being a fighting game, it's popular but it's niche. And just like the points that I made before, it's either you're gonna keep your audience to the hardcore audience or you're gonna lose them, which your casual audience, they'll get bored with the game or feel like it's too hard and move on.
Yeah, but the people that's gonna be charging the real money though for these games have the huge base. Like 2K knew for a fact, like we 2K, there's literally nobody else to compete with. We going up on price.
And EA tried to compete. Let's not forget that EA tried to compete a few years ago.
That old bullshit ass Jesus buying them.
I mean, that's not 2K fault. EA came with a haphazard game.
High trash.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That's how. Because the other thing you got to factor in, and I'm going to get Zelle's opinion in a second. The other thing you got to factor in is people's taste, right? So if a AAA title comes out and that's what it is, you can't bring anything subpar to that, right? Because then people will be like, this is not good enough. You tried, but this is not good enough, so I'm not going to play it anyway. So the other thing is, it got to be a certain standard that these games gotta ascertain to whatever come out, and that's kind of hard for companies that don't have the funding or didn't work on it in the first place to bring something totally new and capitalize on that landscape. I don't know too much about Fortnite as far as how they started, but they kind of ushered in the whole survival style, Royal Rumble style shooters.
Did they come out? It came out before PUBG?
Hell no.
I didn't think so. So PUBG really the one started. And they just like they did a Bill Gates on them boys,
basically.
Yeah, and they kind of came in and changed it around because then they came in and said, well, they getting the hardcore people on PUBG. We gonna get the kids.
we gonna make some Minecraft on them boys.
And
the build mechanic.
And
that's true.
Yep. They did the free to play and they did the pay for content model, and
Battle
paid
pass,
out.
You get the Avies. You get
paid out
access to certain things. Because any aspiring company would want to be. What's the name of Fortnite's developer?
It's Epic, man.
It's Epic, right? Oh, so see, they got history. So, for a brand new company to break into something like that without any history would be totally difficult for them to do.
Totally. It's only gonna be so many people like a Minecraft, that come in the world.
Man,
I
Minecraft came out of nowhere.
If they want to go AAA or not, because you got some like Bungie that went AAA, and that whole breakup with them at Activision was widely publicized, and then here we are with EA and what's that company that Anthem, that BioWare.
Yeah,
I can imagine that in a few years, once they get writing the ship for Anthem, that they're probably gonna have a similar story. So I really just feels like it depends on the company if they want to go AAA, because if you're gonna go AAA, you gotta have the money to do that. But more often than not, you're gonna have to get up under somebody.
Yeah,
it
because
takes a while.
developers don't have the money like that. It's the publishers.
Right.
Developers got a limited, because they not publishing the game. They going through a publisher to get their game out there. So their resource pool and the kickbacks they're going to get from the game is not going to be nothing near a publisher, because a publisher owns the rights to the game to publish it anytime they want. So they got money coming in ad infinitum.
It's a double-edged sword. Sword. I mean, you get more budget resources, but you may have to take a bigger, a lesser cut, or you may have to sign over a X amount of rights to the game. So I mean, it really just depends. But I don't think a lot of people just want to go straight to AAA though, especially how a lot of these instances, especially with EA, once again, how they absorb companies and bleed them dry and everything. I think developers are a lot more wary when they want to go the AAA route. I don't think everybody just wants to I want to get up on the EA. I want to get up on the.
I don't think. Go ahead.
I think just like I had said before is that everybody wants to really play for a while too. They, people don't necessarily want to buy a game that they can be done with tomorrow. Of course, they want a really good game that they can sink their teeth into. And if you put out a good ass game, even if you don't have the advertisement or all of that, the word of mouth will run rampant if it's a great game. Now, if your game ain't good, it just ain't good. And we're getting pickier and pickier because we done played a lot of stuff and we've been around for a long time and seen the whole evolution. So for a game to be really good, it's going to take it, and sometimes, we've been in some droughts. So a game can come out that's not super, super good and we could be like, that mug was better than I thought it was going to be. But but for the most part, everybody's looking for a really good game. And like the gaming community, not like, anything else. Like if the game is good, it's going to run rampant. It's going to run wild. Good reviews here. And like, what is that about? And we're going to research and then we're going to get it. And then we're going to be like, oh, dang. And we're going to tell our buddies and all of the above. So AA titles really going to have to come with it. It can't be like dollar mark no matter what even used. Ain't nobody playing no okay games no more.
Yeah, another thing you got to consider is they're not catering to the same type of gamers anymore, unfortunately.
That's true. I'm not even the same gamer no more. Like, I don't be just playing games for the sake of, like, it got to be social. I need multiplayer in my life and all of that stuff. Like, it got to have all of these boxes checked out because I play games to fellowship now in my older life. Back in the day, it was like, them clean. I just want to play.
I feel you on that.
Because y'all know me, I'm quick to bash any company and call them on their BS, but I also have to consider, like, they're not catering to me anymore, to put it that way. So I always have to consider that, unfortunately. Which is, just for example, just like the fighting games. Obviously, they're not the same anymore. Back in our days of playing fighting games, they released it, you got what you got good at it. If there was there's a glitch in the game or, some kind of exploit, you dealt with it. But at the same time, that made you that much more, more of a competitor. Versus now, you get a group of people to complain about something. Oh man, this attack does too much. Oh, we'll patch it for you. Now it's easy for everybody. And I mean, that's the type of gamers that they're breeding these days. And I just can't agree with that. I can't do anything about it.
Double up on that. These are the type of gamers, they don't even have arcades to go to.
Thank you.
To play these. These they getting tickets. They want tickets. We had quarters up. We was ready to go.
Put your order right there and be like, you got next.
I got next. Forget these tickets, prizes. Forget that.
Yeah.
I think some of it has been a healthy evolution. Like, patching and everything like that. You may have some instances where enough crime produced a patch that for the most part was unnecessary, but some of that stuff really do be needing patches.
No, and I'm not disagreeing with that, but I mean,
but they also know that they're gonna get some more money because every game has DLC, so they might as well patch it up slowly because they're gonna get this extra $20-$30 with this DLC no matter what for people that think the game is good.
Yeah, they're setting you up. Oh, we patched it up. They're happy now. DLC.
Boom.
Hey man, the game's a lot better now. $25. Let's go. It's
yeah, I mean, in a sense, which may be an unpopular opinion, but DLC was kind of needed from a gaming company standpoint.
It was inevitable, absolutely.
Yeah, because if like we got people now with the rise of YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that, people killing games in a week. So if I made a game and it took me 3 years to produce a game, and let's say it cost me about 70 million plus to make the game, and I only get 700,000 sales at the beginning, and people killing my game in a week, I ain't got no chance to make all my money back or produce a lofty profit, because the content that I put in the game is being killed in a week. So you're gonna have to, especially the way people be on games now, you're gonna have to add more things and develop games now to where people will play longer and spend more money on it for it to be profitable.
And I'm cool.
I didn't like DLC when it first came out, but I do like it now, and I definitely see the big upside in it. But me personally, I don't buy DLC. I don't buy DLC unless I love the game. So I agree.
I agree. So my thing is the DLC. I agree with you 100%. Both of y'all. But my thing is to put out quality DLC that's worth the amount that they're asking for, and not just a cash grab. Like the last DLC that I bought that I was just like, yeah, I probably would do this again, was I probably would have to say Neo. They added 4 extra campaigns. They added extra weapons, guardian spirits, and then just by nature of the game being difficult, you're not just gonna run through that. Versus like, let's say a fighting game, they may put out stuff, cosmetic stuff like costumes and everything. And don't get me wrong, it's cosmetic, you don't need it. But at the same time, it's like you charging money for that, but you also still charging money for characters and stages and everything, when you could have just had stuff like costumes unlockable, And if you want to sell me characters, that's fine. But it's like all these other little things. It's like, come on, bro.
That's how businesses work, though, man. You gotta, if people willing to pay for it, why not have it for sale?
Yeah, I had just recently purchased the Pokemon DLC, and I was actually pretty impressed with it. And I know that they coming out with another one in September, I believe. No, November. They're coming out with another DLC, and I was like, my son was playing it, and I was like, man, this is actually some pretty good DLC. I mean, keep going with what they're doing. He went to a whole nother island and stuff like that, and a lot more Pokemon, because I could tell he was kind of getting bored with doing what he was doing at first, and I was like, they came in clutch right at the right time.
That's all, man. If you're gonna have DLC, I'm cool with it. Just make sure that it's it's worth what you're asking for, and it does, it makes the game longer, or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve with the game. It makes sure it's worth it. Don't just be selling somebody something just for a cash grab. That's one of the reasons why I love Smash Brothers so much, because the director, bless his soul, he believed in making a good game and letting that good game carry itself. And then when there is DLC, it's almost like icing on the cake. It's like, oh man, the base game got X amount of characters, X amount of stages, music, and I can unlock this stuff. And then he's like, okay, here's some DLC. What? So you mean I get more?
I do like the Smash Brothers DLC though, because like all them extra characters and stuff like that, that's crazy, because they all play completely different and stuff.
And like I said, the base game, it keeps you playing. He has each game he changes the single player mode. Love it or hate it if you do or don't. But he has unlockables. It's a lot of things for you to do. And then when it comes with the DLC, it instantly feels like it's worth it, because you spend X amount of time with the game already, and then you got this icing on the cake, and it's like, wow, I get extra music, extra characters, and extra stages. Hell yeah, I'll pay $5-10 for that.
Yeah, especially for a fighting game, he definitely do his thing on his DLC.
Yeah, every game, bro, every game, he consistent. That's how you do DLC right there. That's how you do it.
Have to agree with that. All right.
If you want me to buy your DLC, I need you to extend my experience. Period.
Yep.
I don't want to get something or I downloaded it looks cool and then turn the game on. Give me something to play.
Yep, I'm in total agreement. All right, so we went kind of in on that topic. I thought we were, which is a good thing. So we're gonna jump into the topic of what we want to talk about for this particular show. We have the idea of we're gonna go over some of the gaming sequels that we feel like the industry is lacking or that we would like to see. And probably a few of these will probably overlap amongst all of us. So first, I'm gonna let Bean go first. I'm gonna let you give us the titles you think or gaming sequels that you think the industry is definitely needing.
So, like I told you before, big multiplayer guy. So, of course, I'm gonna lean more towards those things. But for one, even though they did kind of make one, they needed one for the real systems, not their Switches in the actual system, but Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yes,
they definitely needed to make another one of those. Yes. I mean, it was easy. It's easy, likable. Everybody loves Marvel. Clearly, they make billions of dollars on movies, so everybody likes those. And to be even more precise, we could even say like an X-Men Legends. It's like what happened? That was super dope. Y'all missed it. I mean, where y'all at with that? That makes no sense. Two, everybody knows me. I'm a Mega Man fan, 1987. So, where my X-Men Legends at, man? We could have been
Legends, by the way. Who made that? Zelle, you know?
Who made what?
X-Men
was Raven Software?
This Google.
It's in Raven. It is Raven and Activision published
it. Where y'all at, bro?
Was.
Where are y'all? We need y'all.
Yeah.
We need y'all to go ahead and file X-Men Legends 3.
Super great promise. And even I could take a redone Battle Network right about now, even on
Hey man.
Hey, I'm a big Mega Man fan. I co-signed to that too.
Yeah, so I just don't know where these guys at. They need to get that together. Now they actually are bringing my dream come true because I felt like Spider-Man was like Game of the Year last year, and they doing like a little, but it's not really a part 2. It's like extra. It's not quite 2, so you kind of give me what I want, but not quite. I guess I'm gonna have to just fill it out because I'm definitely gonna have it at launch. But I wanted that Spider-Man that definitely needs a sequel for sure. So that's my top ones right there. That's what I'm saying, but that's not really supposed to be a full game, right? That's supposed to be like
they say it is.
So it is a full game now.
They say it now.
They say it is.
Well, if it's a full game, then I appreciate it. That's Game of the Year for me. I mean, that was a perfect.
You can look at it as like a spin-off game. You don't have to have the original. You just play it standalone.
Right.
But I doubt it'll be as long as the first Spider-Man.
Oh, come on, man.
Hey, man, I'm just saying.
$70
game. I mean, come on, man. That Spider-Man just came out year before last or last year?
Last year.
I mean, come on.
That one was fire though.
They're gonna use this Miles Morales to help sell PlayStations, which is fine. But I mean, they could have easily spent a lot more time with Miles Morales.
They need to do that same spin with almost every Marvel character, and they got money in the bag.
Damn near.
Money in the bag. They can just count it up, just like they do the Marvel movies. They just, you put a Marvel movie out, it's $1 billion now. So if you just put that same game out with different characters, just about different sceneries, you got your money made. A Black Panther game like that, Spider-Man, man,
oh man. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge player on those the Marvel Ultimate Alliance or X-Men Legends, but they are cult classics. I hear you guys talking about it all the time. So industry would definitely, the people would definitely like to see that. So hopefully a few folks out there listening to make it happen. All right, Zelle, we're gonna spin it to you. You know, what game sequels are you looking for?
Man, first and foremost, and Crooks, you should know this is coming. I need another Infinite Undiscovery from Square Enix.
Dang, you took it back.
Oh, man.
That ring system.
Hey man,
I'm shot in the pod, motherfucker.
Look,
Shot in the pod.
a lot of people probably don't. I mean, Tactics technically got a sequel. It wasn't like, you know, what you wanted it to be, but it got 2 other games.
You need something official. Yeah, I mean, the Infinite Undiscovery for sure. I mean, it has so much potential. The way you can pair up different groups together that can raid dungeons. And Trice did that, right?
Yeah.
Trice did that.
Yeah, and that one part of the game where you in that open field, I think it's like a desert.
Yeah.
And everybody had their own parties that you can interact with. And I'm just getting in my head, multiplayer. It's right there. Let's just do it. Multiplayer RPG is right there.
It definitely screamed multiplayer.
And I'm like, man, this is dope. And, you know, never to be heard from again, unfortunately.
Yeah, it didn't. They needed Square on that one to kind of flesh it out a little more, but they had the general idea in that game was nice.
And it was pretty.
Yeah. It was really well done overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I can't get a sequel, can I get a PC release or something, man?
That game's so old. I rented that mug.
Let's see what else. Infinite Undiscovery and Legend of Dragoon. I'm not the biggest Sony guy. However, that is probably the best game Sony has ever released, and they just kicked it under the rug.
I mean, nobody even really touched the battle system on that either.
There is no battle system like it. Just like what's that game? Shadow Hearts Covenant. I haven't seen a battle system like it either. That little ring system.
Yeah, it's dope. They definitely. That was one of the items on my list. Like I said, I knew it was going to interlap. But
it's crazy how like back then too, like Legend of Dragoon, it didn't have like a lot of commercials or nothing like that to show that it was hot. Everybody just played it and knew about it.
Yeah, you gave it a shot. You know, you a gamer. Like, man, this look cool. I'ma try it. End of story.
That's another thing though too, because that's boys used to rent games. You know, so you can try a game out for $6-7 or run through it. You know, you like, I got a week beating this mug. I beat Kingdom Hearts like that. The first 1 week.
You didn't beat Sephiroth though.
Did beat
Sephiroth.
God damn lie.
Let's see. I'll go for one more, which this is actually being revisited supposedly this year. But y'all remember that Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance?
I do remember Baldur's Gate.
They're coming with another Dark Alliance, supposedly at the end of the year at its earliest, and I'm on that.
Yeah, I don't know about
like this is basically the year of Dungeons and Dragons for me.
I remember it, but I don't think I played it.
Yeah, I don't think I played that one either. But yeah, all the games mentioned definitely need to be revisited. Because like I said, the market is out there speaking, man. These were critical titles, and a lot of these titles might be they might not be mainstream, but to real gamers know, like, yeah, that was dope.
And really just to double up on that, you notice how most of the games we talking about are RPGs because we have a shortage in that area. So
having a shortage.
Oh yeah, my list is RPG heavy. So, and I think they're the harder games to make and make money off of because they're story driven, right? Story and battle driven. So you got to do a lot of the work on that and setting those up, and then you don't have opportunities to recoup your money because you can't change the story up after it's already out there. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a little harder in the current gaming landscape. But it takes some smart people get the Asians out there on it, get the Japanese out there on it. They'll figure it out. But
I know what I'm forgetting. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Vagrant Story.
too.
Where you at, Square? That's easily probably.
They count that
in my
14 money.
Hey, 14 is bankrolling Square. Damn near. We just gonna leave it at that.
It count that 14 money.
But hey, Square, I need a Vagrant story, man. You have to make it happen. That's easily your most difficult RPG you've made, and one of the best ones. And I just swept it under the rug. What's going on?
Yeah, we definitely need a petition to clamor for that. I know a lot of people online have been been asking for another Vagrant story.
Man, that game will agitate the shit out of you, but it's so fun.
As much as I love a remake, really, it's just a huge shortage of RPGs. I mean, and then the best thing that you get from that lately is like some type of hybrid, where like, for instance, like a Neo or something, where it's really just an action game, but it just has some RPG elements.
Yeah, that's true.
This year would have been awesome for good RPGs to come out, because I mean, everybody at home. Yeah. Play a good RPG.
Or like a Star Ocean.
I think they can.
I mean, D would be the expert in what they've currently released. I don't know if it's been up to par, but or they're moving everything to tablets and stuff like that. I don't too much care about that. But
that's what I hate. Why are y'all putting all this stuff on mobile?
Cause man, they gotta appease they Asian market first. They home. And
most people playing on their phones. I don't know if it's just culture, it's just how they adapted and moved away from arcades and home console systems, because they, unlike people in the US, right, they have to move to go to work, right, and they're in close proximity, so a lot of their time is spent in transit, moving around. So it makes sense why those games.
I love playing RPG on the train.
Huh?
I love playing RPG on the train.
I gotta be simple before I get to work.
Yes, I don't really know what's super popular over there other than some of the MMOs, but all right, let's spin it to D. I know D got a pretty good list. Let's hear what you got, D.
I got quite a big list, but I'm gonna try to keep it down and add up more genres. For RPGs, I want to see another Mario RPG. I want to see another Valkyrie Profile. I want to see some more fucking Breath of Fire. I want to see. Oh yeah, I want to see another Tactics and another. I mean, y'all can hate me, but I wouldn't mind a sequel to Chrono Cross. I'll take Trigger first and foremost, but I wouldn't mind a sequel to Chrono Cross because it got slept on.
Yeah.
Now moving to action, I want to see another Ninja Gaiden. We haven't had one of those in a while. I did want to see Battletoads, and Microsoft is bringing it back. I'm kind of on the fence with it because I'm not really sold on the art style. So we gonna
hard like original Battletoads.
I mean, I don't know.
They can't do that.
They ain't gonna make no money.
Yeah,
have you seen it though? It's.
Is Battletoads if you don't make it impossible? I mean,
it depends on what you're going for. To us, it wouldn't be. But
like if I don't have a fight that I can't beat.
I mean, how old is Battletoads? Like 30 years old?
That's crazy. It is.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So it gotta be totally different.
Still putting boys to shame.
Yeah, but I definitely want to see which these by the way are impossible thanks to Konami and their infinite stupidity, but I would love to see another Castlevania, another Metal Gear, and then as far as sports go, where the hell is Fight Night?
I should have known that was coming.
Every year when EA does their little EA Play or whatever, they throw my expectations up against the rocks. Like, where's Fight Night? Where is it? I mean, y'all put UFC aside out there, and I understand why y'all did it. It's cheaper to make and everything like that. But I mean, boxing is still a popular sport. When Floyd was on, especially when Floyd was on and was still fighting and was getting those mega fights with Pacquiao and everybody, Fight Night was still MIA. I don't get it. So definitely that. As far as racing goes, Need for Speed Underground. Why? Once again, EA, just give the people what they want. You know, they got okay with Heat. Heat is okay, but I need the dum dum dum. I need for Speed Underground. I need that.
I did like Underground, but I wouldn't mind a little Midnight Club to flash some lights behind.
Yeah, that's what I had. I need another Midnight Club. 2K. No, Rockstar.
Yeah, that's Rockstar.
Rockstar.
Yeah, Rockstar. We need Midnight Club, not GTA 5 Part 3.
Yeah.
Oh, and what about Onimusha? Not to cut y'all, but yeah, before I forget that, we need another Onimusha. What's up with that? Capcom?
You talking about Capcom. We not getting
Marvel vs. Capcom 4, Capcom versus SNK 3. The list can go on, but I digress.
Probably get the Marvel vs. Capcom. For sure.
Maybe. So we'll see. It depends. It depends on how heavy-handed Marvel's gonna be this go around, because I think that's one of the reasons why Infinite was so trash, because aside from the production values, they were so heavy-handed on insisting that they put all these MCU characters in there. It's like, bro, okay, I understand you trying to tie in your characters with what's on and popping right now, because you know, market and you know, just making sure the oculars are there. So it's like, okay, Black Panther's in the movie, Black Panther's in the game, but it's like, how do you take away staples like X-Men, Wolverine? Right. I mean, how do you do that? Like, this,
they're trying to take Wolverine.
Wolverine is not in. There are no X-Men in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, bro.
They got beef.
What you mean got beef?
I said they got beef.
well, the word on the street is Disney and Fox was kind of like in this Cold War, because Disney wanted the licenses back for X-Men,
right?
And Fox was like, for how much? So there's okay, y'all want to play it like that. So they started kind of freezing them out as far as pushing the X-Men in other forms of media, as far as like comic books, shows, games, and everything. So it's like they basically were self-sabotaging the brand, so that way Fox would
lower the price.
They will lower the price because there's no interest in it anymore, and eventually it worked because they got X-Men back. But you know, at the cost of a shitty ass Marvel vs. Capcom game and a damaged reputation. So that's even if we get a Marvel vs. Capcom 4. But I mean, that's all the games that I got. I could keep going on and on. So I'm gonna go ahead and wheel it on back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys pretty much touched on it. I mean, I didn't have a big list to begin with because I don't play games like I once did. So I don't have a huge list. So, you know, of course we said the Midnight Club. That was pretty much on my list. I remember. Was that using that I think it was like a Sunday. It was like, hey man, they got that Midnight Club for like, they were like $15-17.
That sounds like,
man, let's go get that Midnight Club. And I was like, all right. It was a few years ago. And that's when they had they had all the expansions with it. I think LA being the last one. I remember when we played I played Dub Edition. Dub Edition was dope. I mean, because people spent hours customizing the cars. The customability on that game was just crazy, insane.
I remember like 3 hours making my logo.
Basically. Yeah, the vinyls and stuff like that, getting the colors and everything to match was dope. So I know Rockstar don't need to, but if they did, it would be a welcome addition to kind of challenge EA, because EA don't really need to make Need for Speed anymore, but they are, be a welcome addition to the competition. So I definitely would like to see another Midnight Club, because I don't mind playing racing games. Racing games are kind of mellow and kind of dope at the same time. Racing other people and stuff like that. I didn't play the Crew, so I don't know how that turned out. But
Crew's not bad.
But yeah.
I have part 1.
So yeah, another racing game on that aspect. Like D mentioned, I'm looking for Chrono game sequels.
Or Square Enix, you could just pay that man that gave you an idea for a Chrono game and give us what we want. But hey, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, there's options. Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about we talked about
Chrono Break, man.
Okay. Yeah. So, those are original games, and a lot of these titles are older titles. I think for the most part, all the new hit titles have gotten sequels. But yeah, definitely the Chrono games. That'll be interesting to see. You already said Legend Dragoon, Tactics. I mean, they got the new one on mobile. I haven't really got into it. But it is a mobile game. I would like something on console, but we'll take that. The other game I would like to see, which we probably never would, is I want to see the Xenogears. Like I said, my list is RPG heavy. Not the Xeno Saga. Now I know we had Xeno Saga with Cosmos and all that. They kind of went off the rails with that. The first one was okay, but it didn't really aspire to the levels of the first one. But I do think we would like a proper sequel to Xenogears. I think that'd be dope. But it is what it is. Lost Odyssey. Can we get another Lost Odyssey or something like that?
Hey man, Lost Odyssey was dope.
I enjoyed Lost Odyssey, although it was a little quirky. I think if they would have built upon that concept, the sequel would have been dope.
That sequel, Rogue Galaxy, what's up?
Ooh, Sanchez fruit.
Yeah, I don't know if they talk about that. That would be nice too. Rogue Galaxy has some dope customization aspects to it.
Ain't nobody gonna mention Dark Cloud.
I ain't fucking with Dark Cloud, so I can't.
I like that game, but it ain't nothing I need to see again.
Can we get a throw Grandia? I'd like to see another Grandia.
Hey man, Grandia 2 has the best battle system I've seen in my life, hands down.
You might not go that far, but I definitely liked it. I definitely enjoyed it. Right, Ryudo, Tenseiken Slash.
Boy got a bird that will pick you the enemy up, drop it, and so he can slash you. That's teamwork.
What was that other game? Legend of Legia?
Legaia?
The art.
Legaia? Yeah.
Fist, hand, and foot art.
We had
Boy had to figure out the moves.
You had to figure out the moves. Put the right button combinations together. Get out there in the sea room mist and get dealt with. I think they tried to come with a Legaia too. Was that when PS3 first dropped? It might have been when PS3 first dropped or during the PS3 life cycle.
No, that was PS2. Dual Saga.
Dual Saga? Oh, okay, yeah. But I don't think it was that cool.
Trash.
What about Sweet Coden, man? Nobody mentioned Sweet Coden?
Man,
but they came out with 5, but ever since after 2, because I had 3 was on PS2. The direction they went in was just a little different. And then they did no, I'm confusing the two. I was going to say Dragon Quarter, but that's Breath of Fire. We're going to talk about that.
Damn.
I think they didn't they come with another Breath of Fire? They put it on mobile or something?
No. that don't count. That ain't no Breath of Fire. They just plop that on the plop that as a title on there just to piss people off.
They just use the name and likeness.
Yeah.
I bet you if I sat down, I'd probably come up with some other RPGs that was dope. But yeah, my list is pretty RPG heavy because, like Dean said earlier, it's just one of those genres that's severely lacking.
You know what?
What
happened to my Dead Island?
I don't know. What happened?
That's what I'm saying. What happened to my Dead Island that we were supposed
to
play?
Is that a Capcom game?
It got put on the back burner for Dying Light because they so similar.
Should have brought back my cat.
Hey man, you can get a definitive edition for like $10. That's both games.
But they both been beat. I need some new ones.
So anybody
like
got
a good.
any honorable mentions since we kind of went through quite a few games? We might have to say anime for another day because that's gonna be a long conversation.
Absolutely.
Anime needs to finish because that's more of a Japanese thing, and the Japanese culture is.
We all got one of them at the top of the list.
Yes, indeed.
3 out of 4 of us, or I would say 4 out of 4, got one of them animes at the top of the list.
Yeah, we'll go dive into that in the show.
You know what I wouldn't mind seeing again? That I know that I'm not gonna see?
What's that?
Bushido Blade.
Dang.
I wouldn't mind an updated Bushido Blade.
Dang. Boys die one hit, like, hey, I die.
You step in wrong and get cut. It's a wrap.
You got Neo, and what was the game y'all played last year? Zelle and D?
Sekiro? Nah, that's 2 different games. That's RPG. We talking
Sekiro
about,
is more of a ninja game type.
Right. But I'm talking about as inspirations they can pull from recent successful games.
Right.
They use the samurai motif.
I mean, they can pull from it as far as like.
Because Neo is you gonna get worked if you don't know what you're doing in Neo.
Oh yeah, you gotta get them stances and that key post. You don't master that key post. You might as well put the controller up.
Put it up.
Play the controller in, cause that ain't happening, partner. That ain't happening. But yeah, but Bushido Blade would be dope, especially with this recent renaissance of and resurgence of fighting games. I think Bushido Blade actually would be pretty good and refreshing because it's something different where everybody else is, fighting and they have their own take on the super meter or EX moves and everything like that. Something like a Bushido Blade that comes out that is a fighting game, but you can die in literally one hit. I think that would, in my eyes, that would add some intensity to matches because it's like everybody's kind of like trying to make sure they get that positioning, blocking hits and everything. It's like, I see this open, let me see if I get it. He blocked it. And all it just takes is just that one clean hit, and then with the graphics and everything and how production values have changed since back then, they can make that shit like real cinematic and epic. Like they can almost make it like them old ass samurai movies where somebody a cut and then it'll be blood squirting out.
He did the sound effects.
Fighting game,
Japanese kanji.
What was that game you could transform into an animal? What was that called again?
Bloody Roar.
Bloody Roar.
Oh yeah, that's a good pick. That's different too.
Yeah, Bloody Roar was dope when it came to the arcade.
Sure was.
That was boys get what's his name? I forget the name. It's been so long.
What, on Bloody Roar?
Yeah. What's the name?
Yugo, Gato, Long, Genie, not Genie. Alice.
Bakuryu, the mole.
Yep.
That's number 2, huh? He came on number 2.
Nah, that's all. They all
on.
The mole's on number 1.
Yeah, he's on all of them. They staples.
Yeah, he looks different in 3 and 4. He looked like a teenager or in his early 20s.
Yeah.
That's crazy because they made so many of them and then they just fell off the face of the earth.
Hey man,
it was right there with like Soul Calibur.
You want me to tell you what happened to him? You want me to tell you, Bean? See, they was part of Hudson Soft, right? Then Konami came, right? Yeah. And bought that shit and then said, fuck y'all. In the closet. And that's what happened.
Basically. And Sega needs to issue me another Fighting Vipers. They owe me.
Oh, I ain't never played that, so I can't go.
Crook should know what Fighting Vipers is. You know that fool Bond that looked like JoJo?
Yeah, I remember Fighting Vipers. I didn't play that much show. I remember
be destroying fool armor.
I'm surprised they ain't put out another Virtua Fighter.
I think they have Virtua Fighter 6.
Nah.
I think.
I think the last one they put out was like Tournament Edition or something on PS3.
The last one on PS3, yeah.
But even then, that one was a port, I believe.
But Virtua Fighter could be dope in the way people play fighting games now. Because before it was like you had to be hardcore to kind of be on Virtua Fighter. If you went at the arcade when they first came, now you got that coach, you got the community of hardcore fighting game.
Oh yeah,
So
Virtual Fighter 5's Final Showdown.
Yeah.
Dead or Alive 6 came out. My bad.
Dead or Alive fan service.
Hey man,
Shout out to
you could talk about fan service, but that game will destroy you.
Your ass.
You talking about Dead or Alive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bounce.
Oh yeah. Bounce it.
Remember them boys came out with a beach volleyball game though.
Oh, yeah.
still
people
coming
bought
out
it though. People bought it.
They still coming out with it. Yeah.
Man, that's Japan for you.
Casino and stuff.
Interesting. All right, y'all. So we gonna talk about the last topic real quick before we wrap up, and this is more sporting related. You see, the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes has just reached an extension that is valued at about a little north of $400 million. I think max it can go up to like $550 million if all incentives are met, which would literally make him the $40 million man. You know, they setting that bar pretty high. Plus the incentives to get 10-year contract, which, you know, it makes sense. He just won the Super Bowl. He was in the AFC Championship game last year, if I remember correctly. So his meteoric climb has garnered, you know, I mean, he's the MVP, right? So he's the MVP last year. All right, Lamar Jackson's MVP this year. So his play has garnered that contract. So now, you know, people gonna be looking close to trying to get that Patty Mahomes money.
It's gonna be pretty tough though. I mean, he really is that good. Haven't seen anything like that almost before. That good as a passer like that. We haven't seen nothing like that in a long time. And then it's current with the money that people get now, because people getting 33s and 35s and stuff like that. So doing 40, but that's a real long commitment though. 10 years, that's incredible.
They said they found their quarterback.
Yeah, they putting all the eggs into that basket right there. I don't know. I mean, God willing, he stays healthy, but you know, if he take a detrimental turn for the worse, because he's already been hurt, so you know, injuries tend to come back for some reason. So not for some reason, but injuries tend to come back.
I was about to
They
say
said for some reason, I don't know if I hit it's gonna come back.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he definitely deserves. Like I said, I think that he's a one of a kind talent. I mean, him, you know, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson got a couple more years before I think they figure him out if he don't just learn how to stay in the pocket a little bit more. But other than that, I mean, he's definitely needed. I mean, because you know, Brady and Breeze only got a couple more years left. They kind of like the face of the quarterback, and then so now Mahomes is there to take the title away as the new coming. Yeah, so they need him more than anything.
Yeah, and I think especially the smart thing about the contract is they jumped on it. I know the length is kind of questionable, but they jumped on it before the cap got too high. And honestly, you know, with the pandemic going on, they won't have the same numbers this year, but next year, I think those numbers are going to climb. So in about 3 or 4 years, they'll realize they got a pretty good deal.
I think so too. Kind of like when LeBron got that Nike deal.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, oh, he got $90 million fresh out of high school, but Nike made way more money off of him than they could ever dream of, because LeBron really did live up to the hype of who he was.
You said last week he lived up to your hype.
Yeah, because I like Kobe more than LeBron. But in terms of selling merchandise and being great, he great.
Yeah.
But it's still Kobe forever though, so it's whatever. Kobe Bean Bryant, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, any thoughts on that, Zelle?
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
mean, I think he deserved it. I mean, the dude showed up and showed out. That doesn't happen too often.
You got a ring.
He's definitely a leader. He's a solid player. There's always room for improvement. But I mean, you know, compared to what was there in the seasons he was there, I mean, he was top tier to me over everybody. I mean, I'm not even a Kansas City fan, but I'm like, I can't deny somebody's ability in what I see.
Yeah, he's just so fun to watch, man. I mean, he gonna put up all them points on the board. I mean, that's what the league is looking like now, with all the extra rules and stuff like that. So somebody that's able to produce touchdowns, not like the quarterback that's on my team, the Cowboys.
Hey man,
I live in Cowboy
Can't
land.
be talking about as my mom would say, them cowgirls, man.
That's all they talk about. I'm like, do y'all realize there are much better teams and players out there?
No, it's Dallas. It's Dallas for him.
How long Pat been in the league?
This is third year.
This is third year.
It's only his third year in the league. I thought he was like on the bench for like 2 years.
No, he was on the bench for one.
Oh.
His MVP season was his second year.
Oh, okay. So
last year was his third year.
That's dope. I mean, like, when I compare him to like a Dak, you know, it's kind of like, man. Help us.
Did he go in the draft?
How much money?
In the same draft?
Huh?
Or was Dak a year earlier?
I think Dak was a year earlier because this should be Dak's fourth year.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, man, how much money Dak Prescott wanted? Mr. Cowboy, man.
He wanted to be the highest paid. He wanted to be the highest paid quarterback.
He probably wanted around 37, 38.
You get 20 out of it.
They offered him like 35 or something like that.
That's what Russell Wilson paid. I ain't trying to get the same money.
You gotta be better than Russell Wilson, though. You gotta win some games in the playoffs, you know?
He ain't done nothing.
He said, I beat Russell Wilson in the playoffs.
That first round is kryptonite to the Cowboys, man. If they get there.
The only time he did well was that first year he took over for Romo, and that's only because that's how all new quarterbacks do, because they got all the tape on the old quarterback.
Yeah.
So came in there at
game plan.
first year. And then they had the best running back in the league, so you know that's another reason.
Dak gonna have to tidy up his game. He can't just do what he been doing. It's the NFL. They eventually they're gonna pick you apart. It's their job too.
Hopefully the new coach give him something new to work with. I really don't know. I just not a big fan of Dak. Really, I never have been.
Dang, it's cold blooded, man. You don't believe in your quarterback?
Dang. How you felt like that, man?
They should have picked up Cam before the Patriots got him.
Nah, they're not gonna pick up Cam.
I cleared
money for that.
Yeah. Patriots got him for nickels.
Yeah,
he's on the dollar.
You get my Dallas. They had the money for it.
Hell yeah, they picked
Jerry
up.
Jones.
Yeah, Cam Newton went real cheap.
They picked up Andy Dalton off the Bengals for like $14 million.
Yep.
They got Cam for like 8, 7.
1 year to prove that he wasn't crazy, because ain't gonna tell no lies, man. He gotta change the way. He need to go back to the Cam with the fade.
You need to go back to dabbing Cam.
Nah, he got the Dookie lock, so.
He need to go back to dabbing Cam, because after he lost that Super Bowl, that man started coming out with purses and skirts.
Yeah, he need
like dresses.
Darkwing Duck Bill.
Like, what happened to you, bro?
I don't know who he talking to. I don't know what shit got in his head or something, but
I mean, you
I know, right?
when you get $100 million and you stay in Atlanta.
Yeah.
For those that haven't been to Atlanta recently, those that haven't been to Atlanta recently, you know,
it's a little wild out there.
They're wide open out there.
He over there acting like Dwayne Wade, man.
Yeah, man. It's masculinity is definitely
question.
It's being targeted out there. Yeah, shout out to Patrick Mahomes, man, getting that money.
Congrats.
Being the face of the Kansas City Chiefs and winning the championship. Look forward to watching you and do your best moving forward. So, I mean, next up is gonna have to be Lamar and next up is gonna be Deshaun. Deshaun
He deserves
Watson in
it.
Houston.
He turned out to be way better than I thought he was at first.
What you mean? They said that man's the Michael Jordan of college football.
I don't care what they said, cause
That's a tall order, man.
yeah. What they say, I just look at people play and judge it off that. I don't care what they did before. You got to impress me right in and now. So, but he ended up being a lot better than I gave him credit for at first, though. Him and Russell Wilson did the same thing to me. So, I was like, I don't know about Russell Wilson, man. I think he gonna get hurt eventually. He proved me wrong that he an Iron Man.
He get hurt, but he just play.
Yeah, he Iron Man.
He paced himself.
Yeah, like he'll run, slide, get up.
Best game, probably one of the best game managers I've ever seen.
Absolutely, I can agree with that.
I don't know. I just don't like how Seattle kind of do them. Like they don't really get no receivers. They try to run the ball. Like get that man a receiver so he can throw. Right, he can't throw the ball. He got a pretty deep ball. You know what I mean? You don't get almost 5,000 yards on a running team for nothing. You know what I mean? But yeah, I know they probably try to keep him healthy out there. But that's one of my favorite people to watch. Sure. But yeah, man, NBA season, speaking more sports, it's still kind of they've scheduled to restart for those that have been living under a rock. I think it's slated to start in August. Definitely be one of the weirdest finals because a lot of players are not joining due to COVID and the whole social justice thing, Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. So definitely gonna be a weird season, into a season, but a lot of people looking forward to it. I know I watch, so
absolutely
looking forward to that. But yeah, we're a little over the normal hour that we like to run. I want to thank everybody. We'll thank the co-host joining the show, in their piece. That's special thanks to everybody watching, putting comments, responding, and if you made it all the way through the show, put G first down in the comments section to show your support. So I'm gonna turn it over to the fellas and let them get some parting words before I say my piece. So first we're gonna spin it to Dub D. Let's see what you got. Any closing remarks?
As usual, man, we still got the pandemic going on. Everybody stay safe. Practice your social distancing. Pick up a hobby, clean the house, spend time with your lady. Whatever you need to do just to, pass the time and just stay out the way until everything goes back to normal, man. I can't stress that enough.
Appreciate that. Being what you got for us, closing remarks.
Yeah, man, we all inside most of the time. Everybody is closed in through the COVID. So, get some positive hobbies going on. Get some projects done that, you really been wanting to been putting off, or try something different. I'm into, I'm a personal trainer, so I'm into fitness. So, get out there, get to running, whatever it is, stay active. We don't want to be some couch potatoes in this pandemic.
Yep, stay active as much as you can. Appreciate that. All right, Zelle, what you got? Closing remarks.
Man, absolutely. Stay active, and for the most part, stay safe. If they tell you to wear your mask. Keep your hands washed. Keep your hands out of your face. Like I said, we have no idea how long this could be going on. This could be the new norm. Nobody knows. But until then, protect yourself, and in return, you'll be protecting others. And your family, of course. Hey, man.
I got something else too. Black Lives Matter. Amen.
Black Lives Matter. I can agree with that.
Bet. Yeah, so just like what the fellas say, ladies and gentlemen out there, practice the correct protocol when you're out moving about amongst people. Also, I see a lot of guys risking it out there, risking it all. You know, fellas, ease up, slow down a little bit. You know, take care of your finances. But yeah, I just want to appreciate. Thanks for everybody tuning in. This is the second official recording of the show, and we will probably catch you guys next week. We plan on putting some more content together, some music stuff, some live gameplays, maybe even quick episode anime reviews and stuff like that. Putting a few things together to kind of bring a lot of content to the page. So we ask that everybody stay patient. Also, if you want to reach us on social, you guys can see in the links. We have Instagram, Facebook, email. Of course, you can see us here on YouTube, and I'm working on a Twitter page. And before we go, you guys want to give out your socials. So if people want to holler at you on a personal level or check you guys out in the social space, go ahead and let that out for the people.
Social media, not your social security, folks.
You can check me on Instagram at the Josh Bean. That is TheJoshBean, the Josh Bean on IG.
Yeah, I'm a little anti-social on social media, but I mean, you can catch me on the game though. PS4, Dub D84. Holla at your boy, I gets money.
All right, where we can find you, Zelle?
Yeah, y'all can catch me on the IG. My handle is Big Hanayama, and that's BIG.Hanayama. And that's also my handle on YouTube. If you guys want to follow me, I post random stuff up there when I get a chance. And for those that want to, rub elbows with us on the games and whatnot, I'm going to come up with some player profiles for each one of us, because we all do and play different stuff. That way y'all can interact with us, outside of the show if need be. Play a few games with us, give us some ideas. We can give you some tips, vice versa. Everybody can have fun.
Cool. You guys can reach me. I just recently, probably a few months ago, created IG, Fresh Cut J. You guys want to check me out on there? I'm not too active, but you follow me, I'll follow you back. That's how we doing things on this particular level. Also, I have another YouTube page that I'm working on, primarily 2K content. This channel will probably be the other games that I play and that we play together. But that's at the 2K Mechanic on YouTube. You can check that out. And that's it. We're going to wrap up today's show. Appreciate everybody listening and watching. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.